And I apologize for those lights. The only place I don't have a light's up here, so that means we're going to have to wing it tonight, okay? There's no light. They give us plenty of lights, but not to read this crap. Look, they wrote me a beautiful speech. I might as well throw it right out the window.
There, Donald Trump claims that the lights are such that he can't read his speech, so he just has to wing it, he says. Remember that clip? I want to talk more about it at the end of this video as well and show you other clips where he's been doing the same thing in other speeches. I'm Ben Meiselas from the Midas Touch Network. That was from the second speech that Donald Trump gave in Las Vegas. Of course, it was unhinged, it was dangerous, and it was filled with witness tampering. I want to show one such moment right now where it's not just witness tampering, it is juvenile, petulant third grade style witness tampering. Almost unfathomable, but for the fact that Donald Trump is now the leader of the Republican Party. Here, which is now the MAGA party. Here, Donald Trump calls Bill Barr, his former attorney general, who is a witness in special counsel Jack Smith's Washington, D.C. federal prosecution, a fat slob. He also calls Chris Christie a fat slob. And then he tries to use ambiguity in his language because he's also cowardly, where he goes, I say that you shouldn't call them fat slobs. Here, play this clip.
That Chris Christie, a guy shouts out, he's a fat pig. Now he shouted out, Chris Christie is a fat pig. Then they shouted out, Bill Barr is a fat pig. He's a slob. He's a fat pig. You're not allowed to use the word fat. You're not allowed to say that. So they say, Bill Barr, sir, he's a fat pig. And I say, listen, Bill Barr is not a fat pig. Chris Christie is not a fat pig, sir. I defend them.
And again, folks, this is the leader of the modern day Republican Party, which is the MAGA party. Here, Donald Trump just starts ruminating about strong men crossing the border. And he goes, they're strong men. These men are strong. It's just really weird. Here, play this clip.
And did you ever notice, somebody said the other day, some fool on CNN said, oh, isn't that nice? They're all nice young men. They have young men, 23, 24, 22 years old, strong. They like nice young men. There's something going on. There's something going on. It's not a good thing. They have a lot of young men, young, strong men. I don't want to insult the women, but they're young, strong men, even though, as you know, they want men to play in women's sports. You know that? We're not going to allow that. We're not allowing that.
And then Donald Trump tells this crowd, again, he tries to blame the fact that he can't read any speech, so he's just got to wing it, he says. And here he says that he's an extraordinary athlete. He calls himself an extraordinary athlete. He isn't. Play this clip.
I want to do that too. I'm an extraordinary athlete. I want to play.
And here Donald Trump is mocking President Biden on the one hand, and he tries to say, well, President Biden can't put a sentence together, by the way, which is false. And then Donald Trump, right thereafter, can't put a sentence together. Play this clip.
He can't put two sentences together, and he's in charge of nuclear warfare. Oh, my. I mean, they're not doing well. They're not being treated. And they are right now at a level, I think we're going to get, so we're at 28.
And in the speech Donald Trump gave earlier in the day in Las Vegas, Donald Trump's been doing what we've been seeing at a lot of these speeches that he's been giving, where he kind of just like glitches, like he doesn't remember what he's going to say, and then he just says a bunch of like word salad that makes no sense. Here, play this clip.
Colleges and universities will purge the anti-Semitism and pro-terrorism. What you're doing, the terrorism.
So that was from earlier in the day. And look, we know with Donald Trump, everything is projection or confession or both. So the fact that Donald Trump and MAGA Republicans are going all in, right? They attack President Biden and the way he looks and talks, and they throw out a lot of incorrect and inappropriate medical diagnoses, tells me, because everything is projection and confession with them, and you're just watching these videos, that there's something deeper going on here. Here, Donald Trump spends more time trying to mock President Biden, and it's like, what are you doing? Can you please focus on issues that matter to the American people, and have the American people who are at these events just totally lost the plot about what politics is supposed to be? It's supposed to be about your health care and your life, and it's supposed to be about your jobs, and it's supposed to be about protecting you and talking about things like veterans and Social Security, and it's supposed to be about talking about making education accessible and lowering prescription drug prices and making health care accessible. It's supposed to be about talking about bringing jobs here. It's supposed to be talking about that, but here it's Donald Trump's show spending time mocking President Biden. Play this clip.
He can't put two sentences together, and he's in charge of nuclear warfare. Oh, my. No, but 3 days ago, he got off the thing, and, I see a stairway there, I see a stairway there. If I had to, I'd jump right off this front of the thing. We could make it. It's about 4 feet. I think I could make it. I mean, it's better than looking around driving in circles. I'd rather do that than do that.
And again, there's more of this crap here. Here, Donald Trump is saying, what nickname should I give President? What nickname should I give Biden right now? It's like, no, maybe what should you be doing for the country? Maybe what should you be doing at this point to address the fact that you added $8 trillion to the deficit and raised the taxes for most Americans except for billionaires? Here, play this clip.
But a vote for Joe Biden, Crooked Joe, we changed his name. We had Sleepy Joe. They're both good. Let me ask you, what's a better name? Sleepy Joe Biden, or Crooked Joe Biden? They're both very accurate. They're both accurate. Which is better? Okay, let's have a vote. Which is better? Ready? We'll go crooked first, so we'll go, which is better?
Right. And then he just says something. I will reduce your taxes. I will reduce the debt. Here, play this clip.
But we're going to start paying off debt, and we're going to lower your taxes further. We got you the biggest tax cut ever.
Okay, except that when you were in office, you did the exact opposite. You increased the deficit by $8 trillion. You printed more money than any time in the history of the United States of America. And you raised the taxes for mostly all Americans other than billionaires and decamillionaires. I want to go back to, what I showed you at the beginning of the speech, because the same way Donald Trump tries to use ambiguity in the witness tampering and the threats, even though it's obvious what he's doing, part of his routine now, though, as you saw at the outset, is he blames the lights and he blames the microphone. And that's kind of the way he uses it as like a crutch for the problematic things you're going to watch in the speech about his behavior. And I noticed in Vegas, he did it twice. So here he is in Vegas. You saw the first clip at the outset of the video. Here he is in Vegas doing that same thing a second time, blaming the lights and the environment and the atmosphere for the speech that he's giving. Play this clip.
But in life, you have to do what you have to do. Like, for instance, you have to improvise. I'm improvising tonight. I got this stuff. This is the darkest looking valley I've ever seen right here. You cannot even see there's a folder down there. So you improvise. You put it up here and you pretend that there's nothing happening. And then you don't read it anyway, because when you read this stuff, it's no good. Okay? So you do 99% of it without it. But you take a look at the Oval Office. We obliterated, and we will. We're going back. We're going to obliterate the deep state.
Here he was in a speech fairly recently in West Palm Beach, Florida, lashing out at his staff over his microphone mid-speech. Play this clip.
And I'm glad it's such, because this is the worst microphone I think I've ever had. I hope you can hear me back there. Justin, don't pay the bill for this mic. I'm blowing out my voice talking to this stupid mic. This is the worst mic I've ever had. Okay, now we'll get back to the speech. I'm trying to get their attention. Turn up the mic. Is it okay? And then I don't pay a bill, and they say Trump doesn't pay his contractors.
Here he is complaining that the lights at his rally, this is in Iowa, this one I'm about to show you, complaining that the lights at his rally make him look bad, make him look like crap on TV. Play the clip.
You know, we have these strong lights. As we get better and bigger, the lights get much more powerful, but you look like crap on television. I was going to tell my people, I'm telling my people now, I'm talking, this isn't for you, this is for, these lights are so powerful. They probably cost a lot of money because we're doing so well. Everyone's sending in lots of but these lights are no good. Number one, you can hardly see the audience. Number two, when you go home to watch it with our great First Lady, how did I look? She said, you didn't look good, too much light. These lights are terrible. They're terrible. They look pretty when you're here. You know, it's like lit up like a Christmas tree. By the way, remember Christmas, by the way? We brought back Christmas.
And then you saw the one at the outset of the video. It's intentional. It's part of the routine now, because when you watch what's going on there, and I know legacy media wants to just always attack President Biden, but judge for yourself. And also, do me a favor. Share this video with people you know. Just go through it with them. That's one of the ways you can help. Show it to a family member, a friend, a colleague, a coworker. Let them know what is happening. You know, that's why I show these videos, because I don't want to normalize this behavior. And legacy media doesn't want to talk about it. It is concerning. This is not what politics should be like. And we need. That was creepy Donald Trump trying to hold Ivanka's hand when he brought her to the G20 and just made a complete mockery of the United States of America. For 4 years, I'm Ben Meiselas from the Midas Touch Network. Now, creepy Donald Trump is crying and whining on his social media that Ivanka's going to have to testify in the New York Attorney General's civil fraud case. I mean, come on. How pathetic can you absolutely be? Whenever I talk about Ivanka Trump, though, I always want to remind everybody that Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump made up to $640 million while working in Washington, or $457,142 stimulus checks. Jared Kushner's $2 billion from Saudi, a sovereign wealth fund, came after the Saudi crown prince boasted that Jared Kushner was in his pocket. Both Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner were given senior positions in the United States government in the White House by Donald Trump. Even though Jared Kushner cannot even get a security clearance, China granted 18 trademarks in 2 months to Ivanka. The corruption and just how humiliating that was to our country, I want us never to forget. And here Donald Trump is whining, he's crying on social media, my daughter Ivanka, she has to testify. Well, I mean, she's inextricably involved in the case. Yes, I understand that she's no longer a defendant in the case based on statute of limitations, but she's clearly a witness. She's still affiliated with the Trump Organization. The Trump Organization still pays her bills. So for Ivanka to try to argue, which she did, that she has no affiliation with New York or the Trump Organization, she lives in Florida, that she shouldn't have to testify, it just goes to show you, again, how cowardly these Trumps are, how cowardly Ivanka is, how they will all point fingers at each other and run away from accountability. Here's Donald Trump's post. My daughter Ivanka was released from this fake Letitia James case by the Court of Appeals, but this Trump-hating, unhinged judge who ruled me guilty before this witch hunt trial even started couldn't care less about the fact that he was overturned. I also won on appeal on statute of limitations, but he refuses to accept their decision. I truly believe he is crazy, but certainly at a minimum crazed in his hatred of me. This case should have never started, but now must be dismissed. Financial statements were low, not high. Had a 100% disclaimer clause. Banks were fully paid on time, on schedule, with never even a minor default. There was no victim except me. Any other judge in the country would have thrown this case out on day one. He's an out-of-control nut job who fined me $10,000 over a ridiculous gag order so that the publicity for the day would take over the fact that racist James and the judge's star witness admitted lying to Congress on the stand. Case over! Exclamation point. How embarrassing can you be? I mean, folks, the modern day MAGA party, which is the Republican Party, they're not Republicans anymore, they're MAGA. They want to give this guy the nuclear codes. They want this guy to be making decisions over your life, over your kid's life, your grandkid's life, your family, your neighbors, your coworkers, our country, the world. This is who the Republicans go, yeah, let's give this guy the nuclear codes. I mean, where do I even start here? I mean, first off, Ivanka Trump is a witness. She's an important witness in the case. That is why she is testifying. She's under subpoena, and the judge found that because she earns all of these benefits, including millions of dollars from the Trump organization, it was disingenuous for her to say that she has no affiliation with New York, the Trump organization, or this case, which is what she argued, and the judge said there's jurisdiction over her. Now, she can go and file an appeal over that, but I think the judge made the correct ruling that she's got affiliations with New York. She makes all of this money from the Trump organization, and that she should have to testify. You want to go into you claim you won on appeal on statute of limitations, and no, you didn't. Ivanka won on appeal on statute of limitations. I disagree with the Court of Appeals or the Appellate Division's order. I respect it, though, and that's the decision that was made. But they found that her conduct, her fraudulent conduct, was outside of the 6-year statute of limitations, because she actually argued to throw you and your other kids, Don Jr. and Eric, under the bus. The court embraced that argument, okay, but the court did not find that you would be dismissed on statute of limitations. That's why you're still in this case. And of course, Judge Engoron is following what the appellate department said. Of course he is. The appellate department set the statute of limitations at around February of 2016. There was a tolling agreement. There was tolling also because of COVID. And so that's it. If there was fraud that was committed, February 2016 to the present, that's within the statute of limitations. And if there are older loans, but the fraud was committed within the statute of limitations, that falls within the statute of limitations. That's what the Court of Appeals said. Where else should we talk about here? The judge is crazy or crazed? No, he isn't. And Judge Engoron is a well-respected judge. No other litigants ever have issues with him. He's known as fair. All of the New York lawyers who I know who have practiced in front of him always said he was very even-tempered. And the same way you attack every judge other than Judge Eileen Cannon, that should go and tell you who the real problematic judge is. Then Donald Trump brags like the fact that there was no default is something that he should be praised with. Well, you bankrupted a number of other companies, like multiple other companies, but that's outside the statute of limitations. So you don't get a pat on the back by robbing Peter to pay Paul in this Ponzi scheme-like fraud that's being alleged that you are found to have engaged in by the judge, not to have default, by inflating and deflating your statement of financial conditions to get unfair advantages and have an unfair advantage in the marketplace when it came to getting loans, getting insurance, and having to pay taxes. What else do you want to say? Nut job. Oh, so you were the one who violated the gag order. You threatened the judge's law clerk. You can't control yourself. Just don't threaten the judge's law clerk, and you won't be sanctioned. You won't be fined. The reality is you deserve to be incarcerated. You're lucky the judge only gave you a $10,000 fine. Anybody else would have been found not just in contempt financially, but would have been found in contempt criminally. So frankly, you are lucky. Oh, by the way, I showed you that G20 clip with Donald Trump kind of holding Ivanka's hands. Do you, so weird. Do you remember this? This is Ivanka Trump when she went to the G20 to represent the United States of America. Nobody wanted her there. It's so embarrassing. And she's there and all the other world leaders are like looking at her and she's trying to get involved in the conversation. Like, who are you? Get away. Remember this? Play this clip.
Yes, but this is about social justice. And if
It's all, yeah.
As soon as you start talking about the economic aspect of it, though,
Yeah.
a lot of people start listening who
Yeah.
wouldn't
Start
otherwise
listening.
listen.
And the same with the defense side of it.
Yeah.
In terms of the whole sort of ecosystem, it's been very male dominated.
So as of now, Ivanka is set to testify end of next week. You see Donald Trump whining about that, or kind of sort of whining about it. You know, he mentions her at the beginning. My daughter Ivanka was released from this fake Letitia James case. And then he just goes on to kind of whine about himself. But I guess that's as close to Donald Trump whining about somebody else as there can be. But let me just show you this too. This is a video we made at the Midas Touch Network. It's called Creepy Trump, and it shows you his relationship with Ivanka. Play the clip.
A lot of really creepy statements, actions for sure, but statements that he's made in the past that make me very uncomfortable, certainly as a mother, but as a person who breathes air.
You're going up the escalator? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years. Can you believe it?
Really creepy statements.
If Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. You know?
Oh, it's so weird. Stop. You know what? You are sick.
Yeah. It makes me very uncomfortable that he would look at certain other Americans the way he apparently has in the past.
What does Tiffany have of Marlon?
She's got Marlon's legs.
Creepy.
We don't know whether or not she's got this part yet, but time will tell.
What's the favorite thing you have in common with your father?
Either real estate or golf.
Donald, with your daughter?
Well, I was going to say sex, but I can't relate that.
His death